What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another FPL video on the channel. And in today's one, we're going to be looking at my game week 11 transfer plans. But of course, before we do get into that, let's have a quick update of our game week 10 performance. So as you guys can see, we managed to get a score of 52 points in game week 10, and we still do have two more players to play, Emil Smith-Rowe and Brian Mbeumo. And at the time of recording, my rank is sitting at 865k. Of course, because there is one game to be played, that rank will change, and I hope for the better. Hopefully Smith-Rowe and Brian Mbeumo can both get on the score sheet and I can get an even bigger green arrow. But with that being said, guys, if you want to see sort of my original reaction to game week 10, then make sure you guys check out my last video. But I'm going to keep it short, sweet and simple. That is it for a quick update on my game week 10 performance. So let's go ahead and move on to my game week 11 transfer plans. Alright guys, so as you can see, these are the two players I'm considering to buy for game week 11. Diogo Dalot and Kadioglu. Now, I do want to make one thing clear. I'll only buy one of these two players if Konate gets confirmed out for a very long time. As you guys know, Konate did get injured in the last game against Brighton and he had to come off at half time. Now, if Onslaught does confirm that it's a long-term injury, then I will most likely be making the transfer this week, even though I actually did originally plan to roll the transfer. Unfortunately, I'd have to use up a transfer to replace Konate this week if he is confirmed out for a long period of time. However, if it's a short-term injury and maybe it's just one game, the next game against Aston Villa he'll miss and he's back after the international break for Southampton, I'll most likely just roll the transfer because I've got Mikalenko who I can play on the bench, right? So that is what I just want to clear up first. These transfers are only really going to happen if Konate is confirmed out for a long period of time. But this is the plan just in case, right? I have to cover my tracks, right? I have to cover all bases. I have to make sure I know what I'm doing if Konate is injured. Now, if he is injured, these are the two players I'm eyeing up. Dalot and Kadioglu. I really do like Dalot because the fixtures coming up look really nice. Of course, Ten Hag has been sacked, so you could argue there's like a new manager bounce there for Manchester United. And look, with that being said, regardless of a new manager bounce or not, I just love the fixtures a lot. Leicester at home is great. Ipswich away is great. Everton at home is great. Of course, after that, it's Arsenal away, which is obviously tough. But then after that, it's Nottingham Forest at home. And then City away, which is tough. But then after that, Bournemouth at home, Wolves away, Newcastle at home. Now, of course, Manchester United aren't the best performing team. I know that. I'm a Man United fan. We are terrible, right? I have to say it as it is. We stink and we're a very bad team. But defensively at times, we can be pretty solid sometimes, right? And these fixtures are really good. So I do think Diogo Dalot could be quite a good option. Also, with our new manager coming in, obviously Ruben Amorim, typically at Sporting, he does play a 3 at the back or 5 at the back, however you want to say it, but he plays with wing backs, right? So that could possibly mean that Diogo Dalot is operating as a right wing back in the new Manchester United system under Amorim. And if that is the case, going forward, he could be a really good outlet and a good option and maybe a defender that we look at for attacking returns. So I do kind of like Diogo Dalot as an option, and it's someone it's a player that I will consider if Konate is out, because like I said, the fixtures are pretty decent, especially if I can maybe find another defender to rotate him. So maybe I could bench Dalot for the Arsenal and City games and then play him in the rest of the good games. But yeah, Diogo Dalot is definitely someone I am looking at. All right, I am looking at. Even though Man United are pretty poor, I just really like the fixtures a lot, and he is definitely someone I would go to if Konate is confirmed out for a long time. Now, another player, of course, is not only Diogo Dalot, but another player is actually Kadioglu. Now, Kadioglu, I liked what I saw against Liverpool. Of course, he managed to get on the score sheet against Liverpool, but it wasn't just that for me. The main thing is, now look, you guys know, I've said, I'll hold my hands up, right? I've said this, I don't like the Brighton defense. I think Brighton is a team to target, in my opinion, right? I like when my attackers are playing against Brighton because I think defensively they are pretty weak. However, Kadioglu is very advanced, and I do believe it could be because Minte is injured at the moment that Kadioglu is playing as a right mid or a right winger. That's the last few games he's played as a right winger. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking I like that a lot because he's getting advanced, really advanced, and he is that type of player. He is good going forward. So that's why I do kind of like Kadioglu. And guys, look, the fixtures as well are pretty decent. Of course, it's Man City next. So look, if I was to take this route of buying Kadioglu, I probably wouldn't bring him in for game week 11. It would probably be game week 12. But yeah, overall, the fixtures are really nice. Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham away, then Leicester away, Palace at home, West Ham away, then Brentford at home. Villa and Arsenal are tough, but then after that, it's Ipswich. So I do like the long-term fixtures for Brighton, and I do think Ferdi Kadioglu could be a good cheap option to buy. Massive differential at 0.3% ownership. 4.5 million as well, so he is cheaper than Diogo Dalot. My only concern is that I think Brighton defensively are worse than Manchester United. So, look, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do yet, right? I've not thought a lot about it because I didn't expect to be, taking out Konate, right? That wasn't part of my plans. That injury wasn't part of my plans. I don't know who I'm going to pick between these two, but I'm definitely eyeing up these two players because I do like the fixtures and I do like the attacking potential that both players, to be fair, give you. Especially Kadioglu. I do think Kadioglu's attacking threat is more than Dalot's, but in a three at the back, in a wing-back system, if Amarin does sort of apply his same sort of tactical setup that he played at Sporting with Man United, in that sort of setup, I do think, like I said, Dalot, his attacking threat, could be really, really good. So, look, it's definitely something to think about. I'm not too sure yet what I'm going to do, but these players are definitely on my radar. All right, guys, so as you can see, we are currently on planfpl.com, and we're sort of just going to have a look at my future transfer plans with my team. And with that being said, we do have a slight problem, and I forgot to mention this to you guys. We do have a slight problem, but don't worry, I'm going to show you and talk to you about it right now. So let's say Ibra Konate is confirmed out, right? And I do end up using a transfer to take him out. Let's say we just bring in Diogo Dalot, for example. Let's say that's the player that we do go for, right? Let's say we bring in Dalot. It looks pretty good, Leicester at home and some good upcoming fixtures, right? However, this does cause an issue. This causes me a massive, massive issue, and I'll tell you why. So in game week 12, you guys know, right? I want Cole Palmer. I need and want Cole Palmer. I think it's absolutely essential that I bring that player in. I even want to captain him in this week as well because I think Leicester are so bad. Now, with that being said, to get that player in, to get Cole Palmer in for game week 12, I would need 2 free transfers, right? I would need 2 free transfers. As you guys can see, I'd need to take out Foden. I'd need to take out Solanke to free up some funds. Maybe I'd go to a João Pedro or a Danny Welbeck. But point being is I need 2 transfers to move into Cole Palmer. But as you guys can see, if I use one of my free transfers to take out Konate and bring in Dalot, it means I've only got 1 free transfer to use in game week 12. And therefore, if I want Cole Palmer, I'm going to have to take a -4. So that's the problem. And I don't think it's worth it. I don't really want to take a -4. So that's why in my head, I'm like, I don't know even if Konate's out for a long time, I don't know if I would want to take him out for this particular game week, in game week 11, sorry, because like I said, I know it's going to mean that I'm going to have to take a -4. So that is an issue, right? That is an issue that we do have. Of course, there is a possibility to keep Konate, right, and just simply bench him. I keep Konate, I bench him, and then in game week 12, I don't have to take a hit because I would have rolled the transfer and therefore had 2 free transfers to use, and then I'd use those 2 free transfers to bring in Palmer and Welbeck for Foden and Solanke. But then the problem would be that I wouldn't have Konate and my defence would look pretty weak. I'd have Mbeumo playing against Mikalenko, which isn't ideal. And playing Mikalenko anyway isn't ideal. I would then have Lewis, Man City are terrible defensively. I'd then have Lewis against Tottenham. So the defence does look pretty weak. The attack looks great though, I must say. The attack does look great for this week, game week 12. But the defence does look weak. So I do have my doubts, and I'm not really sure on if I want to take out Konate, because I also do think I probably would want Konate back. If I took him out, right, I would probably want him back at some point, unless he's out for 3 months, which I don't think would be the case for an arm injury. It could be that he's back after the international break, and in that case, I just wouldn't take him out. But maybe if he's back, maybe, I don't know, in January, then you could argue it's worth taking him out and it's worth the -4. But at the moment, I just don't know. It's definitely something we need to think about. But look, I'm not going to ramble for too long. I just wanted to let you guys know that, for example. But we're going to carry on with my transfer plans, assuming that we keep Konate, right? Because it's hard to predict. We don't know for sure. But let's just say Konate is back after the international break, right? Let's base our transfers off that. Let's say that Konate is back after the international break. I would start him for this week, right? I would start him for this week. I would probably bench... Yeah, I think I bench Rico Lewis, to be fair. I think I would bench Rico Lewis. But that's how the team will look in game week 12. And I'd definitely captain... the cold man himself, right, Cole Palmer. But that's how we would look in game week 12. Now, look, for game week 13, I think here, game week 13, the defense doesn't look great because Man City play against Liverpool, which isn't ideal. Spurs also play Fulham, so that's not the greatest fixture for Smith Rowe. But yeah, the defense is the biggest problem here. I think Raya's all right. Nuri is alright, but Mykolenko and Konate are issues. So with that being said, I think Greaves will be back at this point, but Nottingham Forest are looking really, really good. So I wouldn't really ideally want to play Greaves. So what I think I might do is take out Mykolenko, because the fixtures coming up for Mykolenko aren't really that good, right? At this point, it's Man United away, Wolves, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Forest, Bournemouth away. These fixtures are horror. That's a terrible fixture run, right? So I'd probably take out Mykolenko. I would, yeah, probably go for Van den Berg. Free up some more funds. Go for Van den Berg, who's got Leicester at home in Game Week 13 as well, which on paper isn't too bad at all. And then, yeah, that's how the team would look for Game Week 13, which isn't too bad, right? The attack is quite good. The defense is okay. But it's decent, right? It's decent. So that's sort of how we would look for Game Week 13. Then Game Week 14, I could actually take out Brian and Mbeumo. Now, I'm not sure if I want to do it, but I could take out Brian and Mbeumo because the fixtures at this point do take a bit of a turn. But the thing is with Mbeumo, man, I just feel like he can play against anyone. But this fixture run it just really isn't ideal. Villa away, Newcastle at home, Chelsea away, Forest, Brighton, Arsenal, Southampton, but then Man City, Liverpool. I do feel like from these stretch of games, from game week 14 all the way to about 22, you could possibly go without someone like Mbeumo and take a gamble on someone else. And I do like the fixtures that West Ham have, and I'm hoping by this point maybe Lopetegui is sacked, but either way, I feel like Bowen is still quite a good pick. And you look at these fixtures from Game Week 14 onwards, Leicester, Wolves, Bournemouth, Brighton, Southampton, really, really nice games. So I do feel like I want to use a transfer to take out Mbeumo and actually bring in Jared Bowen. I would then also bench Van den Berg, start Rico Lewis against Nottingham Forest at home, and that's probably how my team would look for Game Week 14, which again isn't too bad at all, and I really, really do like it. Of course, we've got the trio of Haaland, Palmer and Salah, which is really, really nice. Bowen in there as well against Leicester away, which I like. In Game Week 15, again, the team is pretty good, but then this is where I would bring in probably another midfielder. I'd take out Dibbling, upgrade Dibbling to... I'd probably say Morgan Rogers, man. Again, I think it's got to be Morgan Rogers. It could be Semenyo against Ipswich, but man, Morgan Rogers, Southampton is just such a good fixture, and I think he rotates pretty well. I think Rogers rotates pretty well with Emil Smith-Rowe, right? So I think I would, yeah, bring in Rogers, bench Smith-Rowe, and again, that's how the team would look in Game Week 15, and it looks pretty decent as well. Again, to be fair, you know, you got Arsenal defender there. You know, if Konate's fit, fingers crossed he is. We've got a Liverpool defender in there. Then, you know, the 8 Nuri. And then Rico Lewis. I think overall the team looks pretty damn solid. I'm not going to lie. Welbeck playing against Leicester, Strand Larson. So I do kind of like it. And now we've managed to upgrade our midfielder. So we've now got a rotation going on with Rogers and Smith-Rowe, which I like a lot. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do for Game Week 15. I'm going to end it there. That is sort of what I am thinking, right, with my future transfer plans. Obviously, look, it's all up in the air right now because I don't know if Konate is going to have a long-term injury or not. Fingers crossed he doesn't have a long-term injury. But overall, I think the team is shaping up to be, you know, pretty good. Pretty good if I do say so myself. So, yeah, I am pretty happy with how the team is shaping up. I do like it a lot, and I do like my team structure as well. So, I think there is a lot of positives. And I'm excited for the next few game weeks to come. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed. And if you did, smash a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me today, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, I'm out. Peace.